Hi and welcome to Porto, Portugal. Well, we finally made it after about 20 hours in transit. So we had a flight out of Saskatoon that took us to Calgary, and then we had a 6-hour layover in Calgary. And then it was a 9.5-hour flight into Frankfurt, a couple hours there, and then a 2.5, 3-hour flight into Porto. And we arrived about 4 p.m. local time here. It's about 15-20 degrees when we arrived. It's a beautiful day. There's some humidity here. You can tell we're not that far from the ocean. As you can see, it's super busy here in the historic downtown. Our mission tonight is just to get some food and then to go to bed, because neither of us slept very well on the plane, and I certainly didn't. So yeah, we're gonna find something to eat, and then tomorrow we're maybe gonna try to get on a walking tour or something like that. Good morning, it's day 2 here in Portugal. So it's our full day, our first full day in Portugal. We're still in Porto. Woke up to a nice sunny day this morning, a little chilly though. It's about 8 degrees. Had a nice breakfast. Most dining seems to happen outdoors here in the sort of historic center of town. So that was nice. Had some cappuccino and really good breakfast, and we're on a walking tour a little bit later. And I think this is the old city hall behind me, but we're going to learn more during that walking tour. So, interesting thing, we're in a little hotel that's more like an Airbnb, but of course it's in an older building, so everything is tiny. And the elevator is just tiny. It's barely big enough for one person, let alone two. So we've been sort of enjoying that novelty of squeezing into that little box and hoping that the power doesn't cut out while we go up. Anyway, we're gonna do a little bit of exploring on our own, and then in about an hour join our walking tour.
Right over here, we can see the two words written on this glass. It says Livraria Chacon. Chacon was the French gentleman who owned the business back in the 1800s. Although by the late 1800s, Chacon, the French gentleman, was losing the business, so he has decided to sell the bookstore.
We went on our walking tour today. We went with a company called Revolutours, which we booked by Googling Guru Tours. So it's a free walking tour. It's 2 hours long, and they just ask for basically a tip at the end. And we really enjoyed it. Our guide was André, who, well, he's a Portuguese guy, speaks perfect English, and yeah, it was an awesome tour. It was the highlight so far of this trip, and I've taken some walking tours elsewhere, and it's always a great way to see a city. So he had a lot of sort of quirky historical facts about Portugal, and talked about, you know, Portugal's history back during the days of world explorers like Magellan and de Vasco. Is that right? De Vasco? De Gama? Vasco da Gama. Vasco da Gama. Famous Portuguese explorers. And how in the mid-1900s, Portugal had become a dictatorship, which they were able to shake in 1974 and to become the very progressive country that they are today. One of my favorite anecdotes was that during a siege of the city by Napoleon's troops in the 1800s, a siege that lasted 13 months, there was a problem with rats and disease, and the people who lived here were actually taking care of the cat population by feeding them and caring for them, because the cat population took care of the rat population, which helped keep the city healthier. So anyway, a lot of cool stories. We really enjoyed it. We're actually up in a church bell tower right now. Let me go check out the bell actually. So a bit of a narrow staircase coming up here. And there's our friend the bell. So there's a bit of a climb coming up here, but totally worth it. So yeah, all in all, a great morning and afternoon here in Porto. We're gonna look for some coffee now and take a little bit of break from walking around. And there's a bridge in the distance behind me, which because of the backlighting you won't be able to make out. But that's apparently a must-do, is crossing that bridge around sunset to be able to watch the sun coming down over the river. So great day here in Porto. It is a beautiful city. People are super friendly. Prices are reasonable. We had a pretty good lunch for about 30 euro, and everything is less than I expected to be, so that is nice.